first edition of the Naharjito Bookathon, presented in association with the Raisoni Foundation. In this session, we shall uncover the secrets and mysteries of the book The Royal Abduction by Mr. Vikram Singh. The book narrates the story of Shreya Singh, a princess from Rajasthan who gets abducted. She's a woman of beauty, substance, and lives a lavish life. But while there are abundant riches in her palace, there are also dark secrets about her family buried in the past. Parallelly, Sid has come to Jaipur to surprise his girlfriend Neha. When he comes to know about the kidnapping of the princess, he is flabbergasted because Shreya looks exactly like Neha. As Romeo, the serial kidnapper, takes responsibility of the kidnapping, the media goes into a frenzy and the general public is shocked and scared. 9 days, 3 clues. Who would find the key to freeing the princess? Why is the kidnapper playing twisted mind games? Can Shreya be rescued before it's too late? This book is a mind-bending thriller where the lives of 2 lovers, a royal princess, and a startup founder get intertwined unimaginably, and it proves to be a thrilling read. The author and this session's speaker, Mr. Vikram Singh, is a banker, author, angel investor, and a regular guest faculty at India's top business schools. He is the co-founder of the Renaissance Investment Advisors, an investment advisory company. Before starting his entrepreneurial stint, he's worked as a director with L&T Finance and HDFC Bank. His debut fictional novel, Mystery of the Urban Monks, is an Amazon bestseller. The book has been ranked among the top 10 books that will change your outlook towards life by Outlook India magazine. His second fiction novel, The Royal Abduction, has been published by Shrishti Publishers and had ranked number 1 on Amazon's hot new releases. He has written extensively on artificial intelligence, startups, leadership, and space exploration. He's a regular contributor to business magazines like Business World, Indian Management Magazine, My Startup Life, Daily Excelsior, and Disruptive.Asia. Vikram is also an advisor at IINREM Foundation, an NGO engaged in the upliftment of rural and semi-urban communities in employment and livelihood generation. Vikram, who hails from Jammu, is a passionate traveler and an adventure junkie. He has traveled across India and has trekked in the Himalayas. Currently, he is based in Delhi. Our moderator for this session is Mr. Manish Divakaran Nair, who is a soft skills trainer with over 25 years of experience. As a passionate researcher and facilitator in employability, his work has culminated in the soon-to-be-published book, The Golden Book on Employability. Manish has trained prominent corporate brands such as Birla, Godrej, and LIC. In addition to his training expertise, he is involved in voiceover work and served as the master of ceremonies for many acclaimed corporates. Recently, he was awarded the LinkedIn Voice in 7 different categories. Without further ado, I'd like to hand over the session to our moderator.
So, a set of questions coming your way, Mr. Vikram Singh. I would like to first know a banker and the royal abduction. Please.
Thank you, Manish, for inviting me to talk about writing. I have been a passionate writer, and I picked up writing some 12, 13 years ago when I used to write short stories. And then this is how I started. Then 4 years ago, my first fiction novel, Mystery of the Urban Monks, was published. And it was an instant bestseller. It was on top in Amazon top list for almost 5-6 months and did very well. It was among the top 5 selling books of my publisher. So that was very encouraging for me. So then I thought I should write another one. Then I wrote The Royal Abduction, and Srishti Publishers were very kind, to accept my request, and they published my book. And that's been the journey so far, and the book is doing very well as I hear from my publisher.
Okay, so you are from finance background, so you understand maybe economics better, maybe accounts better, statistics better. But how come Royal Abduction happens as a second book? The first book was very different, right, sir?
Yes, the first one was thriller. Both the books were thriller, and but the first one was a bit of a light read, and the Royal Abduction has more thicker plots, more intriguing. And of course, as you keep writing, you keep growing, you keep learning. So whatever learnings I had from my first book, I try to imbibe in the second one. So coming back to your question, as a banker, yes, I've been into capital markets always. But it's interesting, Manish, you would have noticed that a lot of bankers and corporate honchos, they end up writing non-fiction books, which could be self-help or on the marketing or the markets or, all those kinds.
True.
But writing for me was more of a break from the hectic corporate career. So that's why I did not want to write about my profession and on corporate, how to climb corporate ladder, or how to become a successful employee, or on marketing or on capital markets, etc. So writing gave me a break from my routine, and I think that's where I found my solace and my happiness. And it's been good so far. I've really enjoyed the journey, and I think that is what is more important. And the book selling or not selling is just numbers. I think that is secondary. Primary, as a writer, primary satisfaction is that you have written something that you wanted to write, and it is out there in the market, and people are reading it, and they're appreciating and giving you a feedback. So I think I have quite a satisfying journey. I've just started. I'm just 4 years, as a published writer. But so far, yes, God has been kind, and I've had a good journey.
Did COVID had anything to do with your writing? Because you said 4 years, and you may not have definitely started 4 years back. So what is that set of psyche that you have brought into your transition from finance background to writing a book?
Thank you, Manish. That's a very good question. I was going to touch upon this point, but since you asked earlier, so I will like to answer that.
Please, sir.
So actually, my book I wrote was pre-COVID. I think I started writing 2018, and by 19 mid, my book was ready. I started approaching publishers to get the book published, but fortunately or unfortunately, my book got published in June 2020, which was like the starting of COVID. Okay. So it's very interesting. Basically, all the bookstores were closed. The malls were closed. The shops were shut. So not the best time, to publish a book because of there is no retail market.
Obviously, correct.
But since people had more time, I think it people developed a habit of reading also during COVID, because they had more time to themselves. So they started reading more. So there's an advantage and disadvantage both. So I marketed the book. I had no choice. I was like hit against the wall because there was no stores open, and the only option for us was Amazon or Flipkart. And that being a debut novel, you want to go all out. So we did a good marketing campaign along with my publisher, and thankfully it did wonders for me. I think it hit the chord with the readers, and I tell you, I think readers are the best marketers for you.
True.
And the word of mouth is what does for you. You can write the best of book, okay, but if you don't market it well, it will not be a great success. But if you have written an average book, you do good marketing, it still do good. But if you written not a good book at all, and you market it well, it will initially pick up, because of the hype that you create. But eventually it will go down, because eventually readers will call the shots. So I think word of mouth is paramount. So marketing is very important, but your content has to be rich, and it has to strike a chord with the readers. I think that is what it did, and I was fortunate that it did very well. One more interesting thing I would like to touch upon is, because it was my debut novel,
Right.
and we wanted, as your first book, you want to do a book launch. So I asked my publisher, I want to do a launch. They said, since because of COVID, everything is closed, shut down. So let's do a launch online. And if you remember, in June 2020, I'm talking, it was all guesswork. Everybody was assuming it will, get normal in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months time. Things will get sorted. Nobody could imagine it would take another 2 years for things to get normal. So I told him, I said, no, it's my first book. I'm very emotionally attached to it, and I want to have a proper launch. I do not want a online, a book launch. So I waited 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, but we kept doing the marketing, pitch, and the book picked up. It did well, and you'll be surprised to know that I did not even launch my first book. So yeah, so that is the story about COVID.
No, this is a very interesting one. Actually, you wanted so earnestly to go for an official launch, but you could not do it. But in the meantime, you kept on marketing, or maybe spreading the word through your connect. One skill of yours which you would like to tell, very prominent, that you being a banker or maybe a finance professional, that you picked up one skill which helped you in your writing skills.
About my, if you ask about my banking, it did not help me in my writing skills, but it did help me in getting some discipline, getting a bit organized, trying to make a framework for your writing, put things into place, be a bit organized. But I would like to touch upon this is a very interesting thing for readers and for aspiring writers also. I traveled a lot, I think, and I read a lot. So I think these two things are paramount for every individual to be a good person and to be a evolved human being. At the same time, if you want to be a good writer, I think these things are very important. You have to read a lot and you must travel a lot. Because the learnings that you imbibe from your traveling or your reading, are like priceless. And they really help you in framing characters, making themes, imagination, etc., And when you go out, you observe a lot. So it all helps. Writing is all about, it's like cognitive science, because you have data sets, okay, in the form of your experiences, your reading, your day-to-day dealing with your family, your helpers, your neighbors, your friends, your office, and then you collate all of that information, those data sets, and try to make it interesting for the readers to be able to enjoy it. So actually, in a way, everybody can be a writer. It's just about working on, because we all have experiences, till the age that we reach, we all have experiences. We've seen people around, we all observe. So, and in today's world, when social media is, so rampant, you have all the information available. You don't even need to go out to check what is happening. So I think we all are bombarded with information and knowledge. It's just about collating them and making them interesting. So that is the art, the craft that you need to work upon if you want to be a writer. Otherwise, I think if I can become a writer, I think anybody can become a writer.
No, that's a very humble statement. I would definitely reinforce two of your good points, sir. In yesterday's one of our interview, we happened to talk to Dr. Vyas, who's an orthodontist and a photographer. So a combination of two unique, if I have to put it, trades and skill, both. In you also, I find two unique professions actually. Novel, writing a novel and becoming an author, you will be an author for life, for sure, because you have a lot to bring from experiences. Now you, like Dr. Vyas, you also are a good reader, good researcher, good observer. And second is, you're not well educated enough. That means whatever reading that you do, you try to apply, but you are well traveled. So well educated is not alone enough. It is well traveled also. So two things which distinctly comes from two personalities, two separate days. So that makes me to maybe reiterate at this point that people should not restrict themselves to only their profession. Read more, as much as possible, so that your cognitive science also gets triggered. It takes you to the positive direction.
So you become a better human being. You are more evolved. You are more learned, and also you have more empathy towards people, nature, everything around you. I think everybody should travel. I think given a chance, reading and traveling, I think will make the world a much better place.
Absolutely, you have just nailed it, sir. That's a bottom line statement. I think we'll drive that statement home, and I wish that the audience also learn or pick up this from you, from this discussion. Sir, abduction is something which is to do with, maybe a lower strata of the society. Abduction is something which is crime. Abduction is something which is anti-social. Now, how come royal abduction happened to you?
Okay. So I'll tell you an interesting thing. When you said abduction is to do with crime, I think, of course, in a way it is crime actually, because you abduct something, you're doing something against somebody's will, but the reason may be different, So sometimes it is revenge. Sometimes it is to, get money or financial needs. Sometimes it is to, just for the heck of it. So it depends on why you do it. If you have a good enough reason, of course, it can never be justified. But then, what I wanted to do in this book, The Royal Abduction, was because my antagonist, Romeo, is a very intelligent abductor. He's a very intelligent person, so much so that he writes poetry. Okay. So what he does is he kidnaps a princess from Jaipur. Of course, he has his own reason. I think you and the readers will have to read the book to find out. I can't disclose everything here. So of course, he has reason to kidnap the princess.
Right.
But then, when he kidnaps her, okay, he plays mind games. He wants to challenge, the cops and the media at large. he sends them clues of the place where he takes her. Okay, and says that you have 3 days. If you can come and find us, you save her, and you can, do whatever you want to do with me. Okay, and then he makes quatrains. Quatrains is basically 4-line poems in which he tells you about gives exam quotes about the state, the place, the location, and the landmarks around where they are hiding. So I think the book will really be very engaging. It's very engaging for the readers because the readers would like to, think that, okay, which place this can be. And Rajasthan, why I picked was Rajasthan is one of the most traveled destinations in the country. But at the same time, there's a lot of, people think that Rajasthan means Jaisalmer means desert, and Jaipur means palaces, etc. So there's a lot of history that I've tried to write, and a lot of misleading, quotes which are there, which you will find out later on that whatever the clue was given was misleading. So you will think that it is this place, but it is not that place. So that is where the research part came, as you asked. Of course, research thankfully today's world, we have Google, and we can do a lot of research, and all the writing needs research. And honestly, I tell you, this is a very good time, to write. And I tell all the aspiring writers in all my talks that if you really want to be a writer, this is the best time to write because first of all, you have a lot of growing English reading, population. And back in the day, people used to read only those literary books, those William Dalrymple kind of books or Shashi Tharoor kind of books, But today, all kind of literature sells, even mythological fiction started by Amish Tripathi also sells. Popular fiction by Chetan Bhagat also sells, So, so all kind of books are selling these days. So there's a huge market, thankfully. And it's a great time to write. And I tell you, I have not learned writing from anywhere. I have just researched. I've gone through YouTube videos to learn the craft of writing from different people. Everything is available on free of cost. So it's a very easy and a good time to write today. And publishing also, there are so many choices to get published. So I think everybody who wants to write, who has an aspiration, has thoughts, must put pen to the paper, but be committed to your craft. So don't take it lightly. People think that writing is very easy. You just write, but I'll tell you, it is a very, very difficult job.
Yes, you are the second person.
Yeah. Because when you write a 200 page draft, so if you're the first draft when you complete, after that you have to do at least 8-10 edits, which means at least 10 to 20 times you have to read the same literature. And it can become very painful because you have written it yourself and then editing, then trying to find mistakes. So it's a lot of hard work. So my suggestion to all aspiring authors and people that, if you really want to write, take it seriously. Work hard. I think everybody can become a writer and a best-selling author. I don't think there's any problem in today's world. There's no challenge. You just have to challenge yourself and give your best.
I think you're making very simple for the budding authors that they can write to. If you have a flair for writing, maybe you can pick up, and this is the right time. That's what you say. Sir, Rajasthan is something that you already said has been largest state.
People travel the most. We have most tourists from internationally also and locally also. Right.
True. Now, taking the culture, talking about Rajasthan and the maximum tourists there, you have this two character called as Shreya and Neha, and they look alike. How did this come to your mind, and how intricate it goes?
Okay. See, Rajasthan, I'll tell you, we pick Rajasthan is because if I tell you, Manish, there is a princess. So first thing in your mind will come is Rajasthan. Then maybe Hyderabad, Nizam. In India, when you talk about royal families or palaces, your first thing in your mind comes to is Rajasthan. Then maybe Patiala, family, or maybe Nizam family in Hyderabad. So Rajasthan was obvious choice. Second was Rajasthan is, I have traveled extensively in Rajasthan, and every place offers its own, culture and richness and food and taste and flavor. So there's a lot in Rajasthan that it offers. And third thing was about the kidnapper you asked me, Romeo, right? He's also based in Rajasthan, and he is a journalist who, who's also based in Rajasthan. And then there is a boyfriend who has a girlfriend called Neha, who kidnapped. So that is to give you a tinge of thrill or suspense. So I can't tell you who is the girlfriend, who is Neha. That you have to read the book again, as I said.
No, I'm absolutely fine, sir. You have given enough clues. Actually, you are in fact rather attracting. enticing us to read that book compulsorily.
So in
Now,
our
there's one
language, those are called red herrings. Red herrings means
character.
when you disclose some information, but at times it is true, at times it may be misleading. So yeah, so that is a part of writing thrillers.
So let's be Romeo at this point and keep
Yes,
creating suspense. But at the
yes,
same
yes,
time, also remind our audience that this is one of the largest, popular book by Amazon, and it's
yes,
top 5 book at one point of time. It is still selling. It's
yes,
still
yes, yes,
available.
yes,
Right
yes.
now, can we talk about one more character, sir? Sid. He's
Sid,
a
yes.
founder of an a startup, and there's this royal abduction happening.
Mm.
So, what is Sid?
Sid is the protagonist, basically. He's the hero of the book, and he just travels to Jaipur to surprise his girlfriend on her birthday. And then he finds out that the girlfriend is missing her. She's not picking up her phone, not replying. And then he suddenly, sees a newspaper, finds a newspaper, a picture of his girlfriend there, saying that the princess is absconding. So he's like awestruck, I
Correct.
didn't know. I thought my girlfriend was a commoner and she's a princess.
Correct.
So that's a surprise element, that you'll figure out as you keep reading what happens after that. Yeah.
Sir, Romeo still has one aspect of, kind of something camouflaged as a character, like
Yes.
he being the villain, and he's also a mastermind to more than one plot, because he's
Yes.
trying to, challenge the police and
Yes.
trying to give something which is
Yes.
maybe obvious, but it is not that which is met with the naked eyes, and it has beyond a vision also to maybe investigate. How
Yes.
does this came to your mind, sir? Because this must have definitely taken a lot of psyche of yours.
Yes. Yes. Manish, honestly, that's a very good question. So the first book that I wrote, I followed a top-down approach. Okay, I had the story in my mind,
Okay.
and then I
Okay.
developed the characters. Okay,
Okay.
but in this second book, The Royal Abduction, I did a bottom-up approach. So I had a character in my mind, and around that, I wove the entire story. So that
Okay.
character was Romeo, and
Okay.
why I picked Romeo was because I somehow feel that right and wrong are always subjective, you know
Yes.
so
Absolutely.
and mostly what happens is what majority thinks ends up becoming right,
Correct.
and sometimes it may not be right because what minority thinks may have their own perspective and majority may have their own perspective, but I
Yes.
somehow feel that right and wrong are they're very thin line of difference, and they're part of the same coin. Okay, so I think showing the right side and the good side of the negative characters is also is very important.
Very correct.
So I had this character, Romeo in my mind, very intelligent person, very sharp, good heart, has a history. So a lot of times when you see when you come across a lot of criminals also,
Yes.
sometimes it may be destined, but a lot of times it's also to do with your background or your past. Okay,
True.
if you have a
True.
turbulent childhood, and if you have grown up in a very poor or bad environment, then you tend to become like that. So we in society we tend to generalize thing or people or something, and we see things from just one perspective or one angle. So my view was to show a criminal who abducts a princess. Obviously, he has a very strong reason to do so, which you will find out. But
Yes.
at the same time, they also have their own reasoning, their own background, their own problems that they got into this mindset or that kind of thought process or negative frame of mind.
Right. Right. When the book starts selling popularly and it reaches every nooks and corner of maybe the world, now the second thing that comes to our mind is, will that book be translated into some kind of a movie?
That's a good question. Thank you. We are in the midst of something already, so as we
Okay. Yeah.
speak. So the book is available on the bookstores across the country, Crosswords and all the bookstores. It's available at all W.H. Smith at all the airports, on Booksetra, Mumbai Airport, everywhere it's available, and online as well. But yes, this screen adaptation is a new culture which has been there for the last few years, and
Right.
every author for them, after once they have crossed the one step, the next logical step for them is to aspire that their book gets adapted into a web series or a movie. And
Right.
as we speak, we are in talks with somebody already, and we are midway through, and hopefully, yeah, fingers crossed, we should be able to do something.
Fantastic. Looking forward. I mean, this is something which is
Thank you, Manish.
really great to hear. Now, the storyline that you have maybe, kind of written it so thoughtfully, so intricately. Now, there is some, there are ways to utilize symbolism and maybe thematic kind of motive behind to deepen the story's meaning
Yes.
and impact. So, what is the meaning and impact that the audience, ultimately the audience, I do not want you to preempt any part of the story, but what is that meaning and impact, which you have already told me? Anything
Mhm.
beyond that, that every negative character also has a positive shade in it.
Yes, yes.
Right. So, what is the meaning and impact of this that you want the audience to understand before reading the book?
See, my book, when I write, I feel, and I always said that my books are an SOS for average readers. Okay. No SOS for average readers, not for very truly evolved and very, very readers who have not, you have read, the entire, literature, all kind of literature, So for average readers, for average English book readers, fiction novel readers. So SOS stands for, S is for simple, O is for original, and the third S is stimulating. So both my books, I make sure that they have tidbits of history, tidbits of knowledge, and of course a message, which I think every author does. Every author,
Yes.
whatever they write, they have a message. Okay,
Right.
which you see when you read, then you realize what the author wants to tell when you finish the book. Of course,
Right.
the plot, the subplot entertains you, but then I think when you get the message, when you finish the book, then you get the message. Okay, this is how the story has been woven, and I think this is what the author wants to convey. So yes,
Okay.
yeah, that's what every author tries to do, and I hope I have also been successful in doing that.
You have completely had two approaches with two of your book. You said
Yeah.
upside down and downside up,
Yeah.
right? So you are already into the groove of an author now. What is the third book that you are thinking of, or maybe you have already started with?
See, as I told you, I'm a passionate writer. I don't
Right.
write under compulsion, and I don't have any commercial, expectation from my writing because I have my own career, I have my own business, I have, I'm an angel investor, I have invested in a lot of startups, so I keep myself busy in that. Third book, yes, I am working on another one, and in
Okay.
fact, my publisher Srishti is only commissioned me to write another book. So
Okay.
I cannot disclose the thing, but yes,
Yes,
we are
of
working on the
course.
third one. Yes.
Right. When we talk about abduction, there is always an ethical dilemma moving into the mind of the protagonist, Romeo, as well as what is that you want to maybe state with ethical dilemma that exists in your book?
Uh, as I told you again about the antagonist, obviously protagonist is always seen in a positive light. But even
Right.
the antagonist, when you read, you see he had his own reason, a very strong and a very valid reason. Of course, no reason can justify an abduction or creating trouble for somebody else. But then sometimes the reasons are strong enough. Again, at the cost of repetition, not justified. But of course, because we tend to think from our own minds, and people who have a negative bent of mind, I think negative, we all have negatives, we all have
Yes.
positives. Just that most
Yes.
of us, try to suppress our negative thoughts and look at the positive. But some
Right.
people who are not able to do it, then it shows in their actions. That's what I think.
Correct.
You know.
Correct.
So I think that is about the Romeo. I think maybe. He had a great past and and a very intelligent person, but sometimes a turbulence in his life which impacted his mind, and an incident, and which always kept in the person's mind. I somehow feel that, you look at, I'll tell you the reason. Look at World War Second. It ended in 1945. Okay,
Right.
so it is like what, maybe 70 plus years.
Right.
Okay. So
Right.
70, 80 plus years of ending of World War II. But if you go and meet an average Jew, it is still ingrained in their mind. They cannot, even the generation which has not seen it, they also
Right.
feel the pain what their ancestors went through during the Second World War in the Europe and places. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
a lot of times there are episodes or incidents that affect you so badly that you're not able to overcome it. You know what I'm
True,
saying? And it is
true.
there in your mind, back of your mind, and then one fine day it comes out, and then you end up doing something, aggressive or a violent thing. So I
Correct.
think a human mind, it's very powerful. You can go to the moon, you can go to the Mars also, like Elon Musk
Yes.
wants us to go. But you can be like a Genghis Khan also, killing one third of the world population. That's the
Right.
power of human mind. Back in
Correct.
the day, if you look at that time, he was a warrior. People in Mongolia love him, admire him. You know, but
Right.
but if you look at normal people, annihilating such a huge population, is a crime. So as I said, human mind is very powerful. What you do with
Correct.
it is so that's what I want to try to talk about a human mind and how it can be positive at the same time being negative. But even if you're negative and you do something bad, you have your own. So just trying to understand the mind of a criminal.
Correct. Correct.
Read behind the thoughts.
Correct, correct. And it is not that easy because you really need to, get deep into it and maybe keep revising your thought and maybe get to some relevance point which makes sense to the ultimate audience. Because writing is something which the reader genre, they normally are not the same crowd. Maybe perhaps those who go to movies. The movie is some different narrative altogether, and writing or reading is altogether a different narrative. So while you are writing, it becomes increasingly difficult for you to, maybe chart out those steps and
Yes.
keep that character in
Yeah, you have
motion.
to keep improving. You have to engage with the readers. You have to make sure because the readers they have like so many choices today.
Yes,
If they
absolutely.
pick up your book and they read first 10, 15 pages, and if it doesn't create a thrill or some kind of interest in the book, they will just keep it side and they will not finish it. So then the whole purpose is defeated. So you have to keep it engaging for readers to enjoy it and they finish it. So I try to write books which are like which you can finish in one go, and I can safely assume that both my books you can finish in one go.
Why thriller? Why not romance?
Actually, I did not think much about it, and I somehow think that thriller is more engaging. You are using your brain more.
That's
You're
true.
creating
That's true.
romance. First is romance. A lot of people have written romance already. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Okay.
So I think it came naturally to me. But thriller
Okay.
actually, and when I started writing my first book when I wrote,
Right.
it was I wanted to write something from my soul. Okay. And
Okay.
if
Right.
you read the first book, you will get to know what I'm trying to say. It's a very breezy kind of a read. But then
Absolutely.
thrill element, it got added on its own. And,
Okay.
I will not take full credit for the thriller, writing a thriller, but
Right.
it happened on its own, and then because you have to make the right, of course, I want to write what I wanted to write. Obviously, I did not have a financial compulsion because I had a good corporate career.
Yes.
But at the same time, being a writer, what gives you the most satisfaction is that people pick up your book and readers
Yes.
read it and
Right.
they get back to you. They give you feedback. That's the most, happiest moment for a writer. And the best thing
Right.
for a writer is to receive a feedback, readers' feedback. Good,
Absolutely. I
good
agree.
or bad. Both are welcome. And
Right.
especially bad ones. Good ones will, give you happiness and, satisfaction and you feel good about it. But bad ones are equally important because they give you a lot of teachings and lessons and which you can
True.
always imbibe and then try to, improve on your next book. So as a writer also, we keep growing with every book.
True. True. It clearly reflects on your strong character, sir, that you are absolutely open mind, you are very agile, you are a traveler, and you are open to feedbacks also. Now, what is the best feedback? I mean, we'll talk about both. The one that you can possibly remember now and say that this is the best compliment that I got in terms of feedback, and this is not that good one, but a critical one, and at the same time, I'm really putting my head into it and maybe improving my next. Do you have something to recollect on that?
See, for the first book, I got a lot of because it was a spiritual thriller. So
Uh-huh.
a lot of people, it's called Mystery of the Urban Monks. Okay,
Okay.
now mystery, though you understand, but urban monks
Yes.
means people like you and me. who are living
Okay.
normal life, okay,
Okay.
but they are spiritual at the same time. I have
Right.
tried to say that if you have to be spiritual, it doesn't mean that you have to leave everything and go to the mountains.
Yes.
You can be
Yes.
living a normal life, doing a day-to-day career, but have empathy, okay, and
Right.
accept the universe, be a part of it, feel a part of it, and
Right.
you can still be a monk, okay.
Right.
So
Right.
that book struck a chord with a lot of people because we all are spiritual beings, most of us, especially in India.
True.
So I think
True.
that book struck a chord, and a lot of people came back to me. I felt so close to the book. I felt so be a part of the book. So that was the
Yes.
best feedback that I got from the book.
Okay.
The second book, um, I got a feedback from one reader, and the reader said that I am from Rajasthan, okay,
Okay.
and I am well traveled, okay,
Right.
and in the book there are three different places that Romeo takes the princess to,
Correct. Correct.
and reading those clues, I being well traveled and being from Rajasthan, I could decipher only one of them. So I think that is the biggest compliment for me, that my
Absolutely.
effort in research and hard work has paid off. Apart from that,
Fantastic.
yes, I got a lot of feedback about the characters being very strong and being intriguing, and and a very well woven story. So yeah, those feedbacks have been there.
Right. Fantastic. Anything that you remember of something which was critical? And I mean, just asking in case if you remember anything. Otherwise, no problem.
Critical
So
about what?
something that triggers you to write maybe or explore more the other spectrum of uh, writing arena.
No, actually, I told you I thought of writing because today's world, when you've seen the movie Animal, which has come,
Yes.
so
Yes.
people have watched it. I think 10 years ago the movie would have not done well, but
Yeah.
today the movie did exceptionally well because people are accepting graphic kind of movies also.
Yes.
So, but I did not want to write a graphic novel. Of course, a thriller can be made very graphic. But I
Right.
somehow feel that the book that I write, my son should be able to read, and my father should also be able to read. So
Okay.
that is in my mind when I write a book. So of course you have to add some masala and romance, etc. But then it should
Right.
be a family kind of a book. That's my objective, because as I told you, I write for my happiness and satisfaction. I don't write for any other compulsion. So
Right.
that is the whole objective.
Right. And there are so many things that you must be thinking about while writing a book, right? I mean, the third time that you have already initiated that, but this is just for the audience that writing a book does not happen, or it doesn't become a natural. It doesn't become, as a matter of practice also, that you get to, one day you start writing and it comes automatically. It never happens that, because you need to think of every character. You need to, maybe keep them in the right thread and weave it nicely so that everything comes out very discreetly for the audience, right? It is not that easy practice. How easy it will be in case if I wish to start writing a book?
It will happen naturally, Manish. You just have to plan, okay? Think about something that you want to write, okay? And then, like a top-down approach. What do you want to write, and which, where, about whom? And then, only thing is, take your laptop, decide,
Right.
okay, every day I'm going to write 50 words for starting. We write 10 pages a day or 2000 words a day, 50 words or 100 words, and I'm going to write every day.
Okay.
Okay, make this a habit, a discipline. Follow discipline. Whatever, you can decide on writing 2 pages or just 20 words, but do
Okay.
it every day. And I
Okay.
think you can do it. And we all are well read. As I told you, in today's world, we all are flooded with information and data points.
True.
Just need to collate, think what you want to do, on what you want to write. I think you can write a novel, no problem.
You have simplified so many versions, sir. I can
If I can
definitely.
write, if you meet Manish, if you meet my friends from school and college, they will
Right.
tell you that no, none of them could believe that I could become a writer. I was a good student, but I was
Yes.
not those intellectual kinds.
Right.
You meet youngsters,
Right.
in class third, fourth, sixth, 10th, 12th, who write very good poetry, stories.
Ah.
I
Yeah.
was
Correct.
like only into sports and having fun and chilling out those days, even till my college also.
Okay.
So I think, if, as I said, you think that I'm being too humble, but that's the reality. If I can write, I think anybody can write.
So you read every day, you take out time, you write every day, you take out time, and you get disciplined, you take out time for that, right? So that's something very unique about your character, your personality. I am impressed, and I'm definitely
Thank you, Manish.
buy that book and definitely read. I want to
Great.
read your third one as well. Buying
Oh,
two
good.
for sure. Looking for your books to be get translated into a movie soon. And
Yes. God
I,
willing,
I
yes.
don't wish to drop curtain now, but then I think we are already approaching 40-45 minutes.
Yeah,
So
I'm enjoying the conversation, and thankful.
you know,
Unfortunately, we have a time limit, so yeah.
you have so much of energy to narrate about your books. Can we talk something about what is that which made your journey to land up doing a book? Before your journey, you have traveled a lot, but you were a professor also at some point of time,
Yes, yes,
right? So all these maybe professions, did they help you? To
yes,
what extent?
yes. See, if you're a fiction writer, then every person you meet is a character for you.
Character, correct.
Yes, yes, yes. Because then you learn from everyone, the way they look, the way they talk, interact, think, etc. So, honestly speaking, if I tell you writing, it's always been there. You know what I'm saying? There's
Right, right.
nothing new that you write. It's just new experiences that you shape up. Okay. So I think every person that you meet is a good character, is a character for yourself. You learn from them, triggers. So of course they help you. And so that's why of course, I've been a very social person also. So I end up making a lot of friends. I interact a lot. I ask a lot of questions. If I meet
Correct.
somebody from one business, I'll ask him a lot of questions about his business because I am in capital markets. So
Okay.
I study
Yes.
corporate, etc. So I anyways have interest in economy, in markets, in corporate world, in industries. So I
Right.
think everything helps you make up your stories, your characters, and also helps you in taking investment decisions also.
Right. Fantastic. I want to listen to you more, sir. What is the
Sure.
maybe inference drawn, or maybe an idea which you want to pass on to the youth capital of the globe, India, the youth of India? Something that you have in your mind that comes through your observation while you are traveling, that youth should be more cautious about, or maybe more vigilant about. You already said, sir, that you should be a good reader, take out time, read,
Yes.
take out time
Yes.
and travel, right? Get disciplined.
Yes.
Anything else other than this as trait or a skill that you want to maybe talk about to the audience?
Okay. I think apart from reading and traveling, I think have empathy,
Empathy. Yes, you have
and
mentioned it.
believe in universal, love and universal brotherhood. And also, I think, if possible, do less of social media and travel and talk to people,
Right.
and I think, and there's a lot of noise today. Honestly, if you ask me, Manish,
Yes.
if you watch news channel today, okay, watch
Yes.
it for 2-3 hours, any news channel, okay,
Right.
and you will feel that if you step out, somebody's going to you just kidnap you or cut your
Correct.
head or something
Correct.
like that. So, which is not true. We all are working, we are going out, we have friends from all the
Yes.
communities everywhere. There are people who are aggressive, there are people who are nice, there are people who are not that polite. So every kind of people are there, and they've always been there.
Yes.
That is why the kind of bad times that our past generations have seen during the if everybody was if we had a very closely knit society, we wouldn't have seen the kind of problems or the killing during the partition time. We all have seen that. So
True.
it's always been there, it always will be there. That's a human nature. Hate is
Right.
cheap, and it
Yes.
sells very fast. So that is why people tend to pick up more. So I think keep away, or at least lessen your social media exposure. And I read news, I don't watch news, because the same thing you read, you get information. If you watch it, you get agitated. So I
Correct.
think try to keep poison out of your head, because their idea is to keep poisoning your head. So and distract you. So you are distracted from doing a lot of things which are more constructive, more fulfilling, and more useful for you, your family, and the country.
Right. Two plays that you mentioned, I would definitely like to have something read upon in case if you have a plan to write about. One is Jammu, the place that you hail from. I
That's my
wish that you write
hometown. Yeah, my
something.
native place. Yes.
Right. So I wish that you write something which is a fact and a fiction, a combination maybe from Jammu, so that we as an audience come to know the journey of your being born and growing age till the age that you have maybe acquired consciousness and evolved from there. One place being Jammu, and the second is you talked about Jews, you talked about maybe Israelites. They are not vindictive as of now, but as your character in the book says that it has a mix kind of good and a bad element as a human being. So Jews are not all bad. They have gone places. They are all across the world. They are doing all sorts of good, right? And they're not vindictive. And you said one thing that during the upbringing might be that four children, or maybe the children that are there now might have heard it from their grandfathers, that how the stories are ingrained still and how they can recollect. So I wish, this is just my wish, that you pick up on these two places and write something very different.
Jews was just an example. You pick up from Punjab also, families who have been shattered during partition time, or any kind of riots which have happened in India, abroad, anywhere. Algeria, French people have massacred Algerians like nobody's business. Africans, how they've been tortured. So what I'm saying is that that it remains, it's ingrained in your generations. It passes on, and I mean I won't be surprised if somebody still remembers it and it hits them badly and they react. You know what I'm trying to say. So the idea was,
the point is, sir, they have never been reactive. They've been very responsive and responsible also, right?
Yes.
So my idea was just to have
the killing is not justified any part of the world. Killing is not justified by anyone in the past or today or in the future also. So coming back to Jammu, since you mentioned, I'll tell you a very interesting thing, which not many people know. I have lived in Jammu till my graduation, from my birth till I was there. No, not many people know that Jammu and Kashmir, is a princely state, and Maharaja Gulab Singh, who was a general in Maharaja Ranjit Singh's army. He was the king of J&K. He was the founding father of the state. And during his time, Ladakh was annexed from Tibet. It was part of Tibet. And we had even captured some part of Tibet also in the 18th century. In the 19th century. So some part of Tibet was part of J&K. Some part of Himachal was part of J&K. Kashmir, Gilgit, Baltistan, Punjab, some part, they're all part of J&K. So we have a great history. Our royal family, Maharaja Gulab Singh was a great warrior, and not many people know. People think that Ladakh has always been a part of India. No, it was annexed by Maharaja Gulab Singh's general Zorawar Singh, who annexed it from Tibet. And we also had some eastern Tibet, some part of eastern Tibet. Western Tibet was also part of India back in the day, in the 19th century.
Fantastic. See, I was not aware of this. Maybe Gulab Singh might be your next book character.
Yes.
There are a lot of things we can still talk about and maybe give an ideation to the next book or writing. But unfortunately, we are running short of time, sir.
Yeah, I know. I'm enjoying the discussion, but I feel we have short of time.
Simply loved the way it went, and I just wish that the audience who are sticking to this video, this interview session, drive home a lot of good points from the character itself, Mr. Vikram Singh. So,
thank you, Manish.
Pleasure to have you, sir. Thank you so much, and wish you great luck in whatever that you do. Keep inspiring.
Yes, great talking, Manish. And impromptu is always best. I like it this way, and you end up having heart-to-heart conversations. I think that is what is more important. That's how I enjoy it also. So thank you for inviting me once again, and great chatting with you. And take care, and all the best to you.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure meeting you. Really.